appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
It's 4 p.m. local time now. Thank you for joining us once again on CoreTV News Hour. I am Frank Komalape, and here are some of the stories for filing at this time. As the crisis thrown up by the primaries of the People's Democratic Party in various state chapters of the party and its aftermath continue, President Goodluck Jonathan has appealed to all aggrieved aspirants not to dump the party. The president, who was speaking at the fundraising dinner of the party at the banquet hall of the presidential villa in Abuja, says the national leadership of the party is working hard to resolve conflict thrown up by the primaries in many states. The primaries of the party for the selection of candidate for the 2015 general elections has thrown up crises in most state chapters with accusation of imposition of candidate by either the governor or the national headquarters of the party, leading to the defection of aspirants such as a former Oyo State Governor Lawakala, Samuel Otone, a former minister under Jonathan, and Sheyi Makinde. Jonathan, however, advised aggrieved party members to remain in the system to correct whatever is wrong, and the party has against jumping ship, while also saying that all the cases of aggrieved aspirants in state may not be resolved to the satisfaction of all concerned. He says the party will take all the issues that arose from the primaries for the 2015 general elections into account when preparing for the 2019 process, but concluded that the major task before his part is to ensure that the nation remain one indivisible entity. The presidential candidate of the Alliance for Democracy, Rafiu Salau, says he is the best man among a host of individuals jostling to be the nation's #1 man for the 2015 general elections. Doing a comparative analysis of himself and All Progressive Congress presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari, the AD candidate say he is a better option and that not even Goodluck Jonathan can stand shoulder to shoulder with him. Going further, he says he is in tune with the feelings of the average man on the street and that the nation will experience tremendous change and development under him if elected. The objective, according to the AD presidential flag bearer, is good governance and an economy that will cater for the need of all Nigerians, while the nation's oil revenue will be used for capital development. Salau added that his drive to develop the economy to a world-class standard will ensure that 50% of the nation's revenue will be generated from personal income tax, while also expressing his readiness to work with whoever is elected president in 2015 if he's not the winner. The 36 state houses of assembly have endorsed financial autonomy for state legislature. The lawmakers also voted to separate the office of the Attorney General of the Federation and that of the Justice Minister. Chairman of the Conference of Speakers of State Houses of Assembly, Samuel Ikom, disclosed this while handing over the reports of the Constitution review process to the leadership of the National Assembly. Senate President David Mark, however, dropped hints that the state legislators turned down the proposal for local government autonomy.
It is not every time that state legislators turn up at the National Assembly, but they did on Friday to hand over the outcome of a process that was handed to them after federal lawmakers had completed their own portion. And unlike the last constitution review process, the legislators opted for financial independence rather than continue to depend on state governors.
We have exceeded the requirement for the financial autonomy of state legislatures. We have also exceeded the required 2/3 for the strengthening of other institutions sought for, such as splitting of the Office of Attorney General from that of the Minister of Justice, creation of Accountant General of Federal Government Office, and strengthening of the laws passed by the legislature, as well as the resolutions, amongst other things, actions we have agreed to, as will be seen when this submission is analyzed.
And although the Speaker was silent on other key proposals, including local government autonomy, the Senate President dropped some hints.
It doesn't matter how many times we amend the Constitution, it doesn't matter how often we rewrite the Constitution, unless the operators are prepared to go by the Constitution, it will be absolutely meaningless.
Senator Mark commended the state lawmakers for exhibiting the necessary courage to cut off their dependence on governors. He also issued an admonition to political office holders on respect for the Constitution.
So I think that that was one of the areas where, in the First Amendment, the state assemblies didn't have the courage to do it. But I must congratulate you because that is very key. One of the other areas which I think we asked you to approve was local government autonomy. I don't know whether you've had the courage to do that, but if you haven't had it, there is no problem with it. It's a continuous exercise.
With what we received today is a confirmation that the legislature is working and the necessary amendments that met the requirements will actually be passed. So we are inching towards improving the Constitution so that at the end of the day we can now say this is a Constitution for the Federal Republic of Nigeria by the people of the Nigeria.
Now that the document is back in the National Assembly, the onus is now on the federal lawmakers to forward a clean copy to President Goodluck Jonathan for his assent.
Now, a former governor of Kaduna State and leader of the Conference of Nigerian Political Parties, Balarabe Musa, said on Saturday that the future of Nigeria under the President Goodluck Jonathan-led government is gloomy. The former governor noted that the way the country was being governed showed that Jonathan was incapable of running the affairs of Nigeria. He argued that even the president's sympathizers had come to terms with the reality. Musa will claim that neither the All Progressive Congress nor the People's Democratic Party could produce the president in 2015, said his party, the People's Redemption Party, though deregistered by INEC, had gone into merger with other political parties to form the next government. The leader of the CNPP, who is the national chairman of the deregistered People's Redemption Party, spoke to journalists during a meeting with 26 state executive committee members of the party on Saturday in Kaduna. He said there was no difference between the PDP and the APC, urging Nigerians to reject them as none of the parties were credible enough to take Nigerians to the promised land. He added that the PRP has since instituted legal action against the Independent National Electoral Commission for deregistering the party. The All Progressive Congress has strongly condemned the act of intolerance by Gombe State Governor Ibrahim Hassan Dankwabo, who the party says has been working hard to obliterate the APC presence and also victimize its members in the state. In a statement issued in Lagos on Saturday by its National Publicity Secretary, La Mohammed, the party said the governor's actions when he visited Kashere, the hometown of his predecessor, Dan Juma Goji, on Thursday, were despicable and barbaric and should be condemned by all right-thinking people. Dankwabo, according to the APC spokesman, personally ordered the removal of all parties' billboards and posters in the town, ordered the police and the army to break into Goji's family house, where they broke down doors, tear gas, and arrested his relations, including children. The APC described as a cruel irony the fact that the PDP, which has been busy criticizing the APC for fielding an old man as a presidential candidate, is home to a man who was born in post-independent Nigeria but has chosen to behave like a 19th century emperor. With the 2015 general elections gradually approaching, the issue of violence and political thuggery has again come to the fore, with killings and violence in some states linked to political activities. In this report, our correspondent to Luashe Adigoke takes a look at the issue.
The political history of Nigeria has been dotted with stories of strongmen holding fort in localities with a little hint of violence, either directly or indirectly. The post-independence period has seen the nation struggling with violence thrown up by politics, with events such as Operation Wete and others like it. Some primaries conducted recently ahead 2015 elections were indication that violence linked to political thugs may be a major problem in the 2015 elections if this issue is not properly addressed. These politicians say political thuggery is an aberration that they do not encourage.
We have been in the struggle for a violent free election.
Political thuggery is against the will of God, and those who are engaged in it must stop.
Thuggery, people are already dying, you know, in over 2015, and a lot more are going to die.
This Nigerian lawyer says the law abhors violence of any kind.
There is no law, whether written or unwritten, that supports thuggery. So the Constitution is definitely against thuggery.
Speaking on behalf of all security agencies who have been questioned for their roles in some of the political violence witnessed before now, Lagos State Commandant of the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps, Donatus Ikemefuna, says all hands are on deck to prevent thuggery in the coming elections.
All security agencies have decided to come together as one, so that all those skirmishes that we envisage that will come up, will be forestalled and taken care of. There is going to be total synergy of all security agencies, and this is calling on everybody. It's not just security agencies, even politicians and the public to give us information so that those problems that we envisage, will be nipped in the bud.
While the security agents made a promise for election security, and the Independent National Electoral Commission also promises free, fair and credible elections, most Nigerians expect that all stakeholders work to ensure that the 2015 general elections is violence-free. Oluwaseyi Adegoke, CoreTV News, Lagos.
This is CoreTV News. We'll take a break right now. We'll be back with more. Join us again.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on Digit 360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
In case you're just joining us, this is CoreTV News on the hour. For more information on our news and other programs, visit our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also log on to our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. And our YouTube page is youtube.com/CoreTV. Give it space, then news. The military authorities say it is too early to confirm the number of insurgents killed in a foil attack on HGSN engineer working to restore power supply to some parts of Borno State. Some reports have suggested that soldiers on patrol killed 75 Boko Haram members around Bolaburi village near Damboa, but the figure is likely to be higher. Defense headquarters said in a statement that an ongoing mopping operation will determine the number of terrorists who died in the encounter with troops on Friday. It, however, confirmed that a large number of the terrorists died in the process, while the IED-laden Hilux vehicles were destroyed. The military says troops also captured the Hilux vehicle early stolen from the Borno State Ministry of Education, but now pre-painted and rigged up with an anti-aircraft gun. Other weapons recovered by troops include rocket-propelled grenades and rifles. 2 soldiers also died in the encounter. The military, meanwhile, says army engineers who have been clearing IEDs and effecting repairs on bridges have repelled an attack while working on a bridge around Surana. Several terrorists were said to have died in the encounter, while 4 general-purpose machine guns, 3 rifles, and 2 rocket-propelled grenade launchers were captured. 1 soldier, however, died, while 3 others were wounded in the encounter. In another development, troops have been conducting air and land patrol of towns in Adamawa State, including Mubi, Uba, Garkida, Muva, as part of a coordinated counter-terrorism operation to clear the insurgents of operating in the state. Meanwhile, the United States says it remained committed to helping the federal government in tackling the threat of Boko Haram and other extremist organizations in the country. This is contained in a statement issued by the Public Affairs Department of the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria. It said the U.S. government has also restated its commitment to support Nigeria's effort to rescue the abducted Chibok girls and all others who have been abducted in various communities, particularly condemn in the stronger terms the attack on Gunsuri village, Borno, which was reported to have been perpetrated by Boko Haram. It expressed concerns that this year alone, Boko Haram had murdered thousands of innocent people in various attacks on schools, churches and mosques. According to the statement, Boko Haram attacks have resulted in displacement of hundreds of thousands of Nigerians. Away from that now, following the 13-hour talks between the striking oil workers, which culminated in the suspension of the recent strike, President Goodluck Jonathan issued a stern warning to organize labor to stop using industrial action to punish Nigerians. And what appears a direct response to the president's warning, the General Secretary of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Bayo Oluwashile, says the suspending oil workers' strike was surely an issue-based action meant to salvage the people of the country from lingering poverty. Our correspondent Omotayalo took him up on developments surrounding the suspended strike, and finally this report has presented from our studios.
The dwindling global oil prices have more than enough exposed the underbelly in the Nigerian economy, which is largely dependent on oil. The nation has over time been bedeviled with unceasing strikes which most often than necessary leave the people suffering over fuel scarcity. The Pangasan chieftain Bayo Oluwashile admitted that the effect of strike on the people is painful, but it is a necessary evil that must produce good fruit. He rubbishes claim that the strikes are used to pursue selfish agenda.
Because we are not always on the streets, we allow our issues to build up. We've been having a lot of discussions, and there are communiques to back them up with the government on various issues affecting the industry. And on this year alone, we've had about 6 various meetings. And we had expected that within certain timelines that we have set for ourselves, some of the issues will have been resolved. But we discovered that we are going into 2015 still carrying the same burden of challenges. And the industry is crying, bleeding on some of them.
What rarely is a problem in the industry?
Even Nigerians know that the industry is sick. And there are a lot of national questions around why things are not working here. When you look at the other sectors that are less important, and they are getting quite a lot of attention. So, and they know that the real drivers of the economy is the oil and gas sector. Look at the various state governments. They are saying that their revenue is being dwindling and they are unable to meet their developmental challenges. And all this money is also coming from the oil and gas. And they can also see very clearly, without anybody telling you, that prices of crude oil drop is already affecting how our budget is going to be managed and how government is really going to drive the nation come 2015.
Oluwashile advised Nigerians to stop looking at the oil industry workers as enemies of the country instead of playing politics with the issues at hand.
So these are not things that people should begin to fathom, things that really that are not as significant as these major areas of concern. So we believe strongly that we should not take trivial issues to becloud bigger pictures that affect the industry.
The problem, according to the Pangasan, time will obviously snowball into other sectors of the economy because of the large reliance on oil.
Up to today, Nigerians can see that we are almost totally dependent on importation of petroleum products, whereas we are selling our crude at any price that the international community is dictating it. And we can also begin to look inward and say that, can we have our means of optimizing the benefit of hydrocarbon resources by having our own strategies, just like other countries like Ghana and the rest of them have been able to minimize their dependence. Small countries that are producing just about 18,000 barrels or 30,000 barrels per day are doing better.
So where do we go from here?
And the more we talk about these things, the more we are able to find a solution to our problem. And because we are keeping quiet, because those that are supposed to lead in this discussion and be able to initiate directions are not reaching out and we are getting worried. If you keep quiet, before you know it, everybody will lose their job, and there will be no hope.
The nation will, in the face of continuous downward slide in the prices of oil, both look for solutions including resorting to the non-oil producing sector as austerity measures take shape.
Away from that now, Governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, who famously won his election last June by distributing stomach infrastructure to voters, has carried on with his policy into the Christmas season. Between Thursday and Saturday, he had distributed over 80,000 chickens and 100,000 bags of rice to Ekiti citizens, according to a statement from his press office. He also doled out cash, according to his chief press secretary, Dou Adelusi. While some besieged the governor's office to collect the laches, others had theirs delivered to their doorsteps. On Saturday, as early as 10 a.m., Fayose and his team started distributing the package to the people who kept steaming into his office. He later moved to the marketplaces with same package, designating all the 16 local government areas as centers for the distribution. Fayose told journalists that what takes priority in his heart daily is the welfare of the people of the state. Asked why he gave out cash, he said they need to buy pepper, salt, Maggi, palm oil to cook the chicken. Those who benefited are widows, the aged, pensioners, traders, and artisans. He said the exercise will continue till the Christmas day, adding that the teachers will take their turn on Monday. Fayose appointed a special aide on stomach infrastructure where he has in office. Meanwhile, ram dealers at the popular Kara market on the outskirts of Lagos have blamed the rise in the cost of livestock to the Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast part of the country. They spoke against the backdrop of complaints by Nigerians over spiral rise in the cost of foodstuff ahead Christmas.
Market no move at all. Everything dey silent. Every people they talk about money. Then they talk about politician. They don't release anything. So everything dey tight. And Boko Haram they cost everything. Because everything where they come from north, they high.
This year market they fine, but we dey think say market they move because since now market is not full market. So anybody where you want come buy, make you quick come buy market.
It's moving gradually, but people have not been coming in so much as we're supposed to expect. It's better the government should see something to do to it, because due to the messes, people are complaining so much.
You're still watching CoreTV News on the hour. We'll take another break shortly. We'll be back with more. Join us again.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
Outside Nigeria now, Chinese President Xi Jinping won Hong Kong and Macau on Saturday to remember they are part of one China as pro-democracy campaigners in both semi-autonomous territories call for free leadership elections. Security has been tight during Xi's two-day visit to Macau to mark the 15th anniversary of the gambling hub's handover from Portugal, just days after police cleared the last remaining protest site in neighboring Hong Kong. Reporters at the airport tarmac waiting for Xi's arrival in Macau were not allowed to hold umbrellas, the symbol of Hong Kong's pro-democracy movement, and were handed raincoats instead. A small group of protesters has also attempted to walk to where the Chinese president was staying while holding yellow umbrellas. Police, however, stopped them, saying the area was restricted. The president won both territories on Saturday against a misguided approach. Similar discontent over corruption and social inequality partly underpins the Hong Kong movement. Macau is the only part of China where casino gambling is legal and has until now depended on higher rollers from the mainland. And as a wrap on CoreTV News at this time, many thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalape. I'll see you again.